That's been my #1 struggle, because, you know, I've gotten my skills as far as making the videos, editing the videos, talking, presenting, like that's all improved, but my story is still, I'm still finding out how to tell it. You're probably asking yourself, what is it that I'm watching right now? This is me watching some of my old vlogs, trying to identify a story. Trying to identify the stories and learn from my old videos. This is something that I do every once in a while, fairly regularly. I'm gonna try and start doing more, is not only going back and identifying story in my past vlogs, but trying to implement it in my present vlogs. One of the people that I watch more often than basically anyone anymore, I watch a lot of Van Neistat, the Spirited Man. He made it extremely clear to me in one of his videos. I'll put it up on the screen. He made it extremely clear to me a really good 3-act structure. It's an outline is what it is of what sort of should be in your story. And so what I've been doing is going back, looking at some older videos and trying to plug in, you know, things that happen in the video to this little story outline. And truthfully, it's not going too well. And for the sake of this video, the fact that it's not going too well, as I'm going back and watching these videos and I'm not able to find a proper story within these videos, that's the conflict. That is, and for this video, that is the conflict that I'm facing. With any story, there has to be some sort of trials and effort to overcome said conflict. And I feel as though this is one of those things that it's gonna be hard to figure out. I think breaking it down to into its most simple terms is a step in the right direction. And I think that's why this outline is so good. So I've got this big notebook that I bought a little while back, and I have yesterday's video kind of sort of broken down into story outline that Van made. It fits. I think yesterday's video particularly was a stepping stone for me in terms of my storytelling abilities and practicing said abilities. But I've got all the things you need. I've got the very beginning, we got the what's happening. You know, that's when you introduce the character or the situation at hand or whatever. And then you've got your conflict. The point is I've got all the elements of the story in writing. So yesterday's video, I made it, and then after I made it, I went through and filled all this out. I sort of just wrote it in, and I kind of took some extra notes here and there just to further analyze the video that I made. I think this could be a really good way to make myself more conscious as far as what I'm actually putting in my videos and what's behind what you see on the screen. And I think whether or not I like to admit it, this has been sort of my biggest struggle during the whole process, really. Once I've sort of figured out that having good story is probably one of the most important things in these videos, since I've learned that, that's been my #1 struggle. Because, you know, I've gotten my skills as far as making the videos, editing the videos, talking, presenting, like that's all improved, but my story is still, I'm still finding out how to tell it. You know, I've tried all these different things, I've watched videos, I've watched my own videos, I've made more videos, I've made different styles of videos, and I've attempted all these different types of things over the last couple of years. And something hit me that, you know, I'd never quite taken as an actual option. And for whatever reason, I couldn't tell you, but I think this might just be the thing that gets me where I need to go in terms of storytelling. For some reason, I never considered this. I don't know why I didn't. I never have, but I'm glad I did. And I'll tell you what that is. So, but first, I'm talking about Van Neistat, and one of his #1 things he talks about is your story is not a story if it doesn't have a surprise. If your story does not contain a surprise, then it's not a story, it's a report. So you're just telling information, and there's no punchline, right? What does this story have to do? What's the surprise in this story that I'm telling today? What is the surprise in me not having any story, me not telling good stories? And then all of a sudden, do I just keep doing this? Do I stay on this path? Do I stay not telling good stories? Or do I eventually somehow figure it out? Do I break through the wall? Do I get over the hump to my resolution? So the thing that I think I've finally sort of figured that is going to help probably the most in my efforts to tell a better story is reading books. I think there's something to reading something and interpreting it in your own way. So in the book that I'm reading right now, to drive home some of the points that are made, there's little stories in there. There's stories being told. It's, you know, there's the setup, there's the conflict, there's the resolution, and the resolution drives home the point of what the author is trying to say. And this is becoming more clear to me that that is such an obvious example and such a clear example that it's so easy to digest. So just through the 2 chapters that I've read, it's helping me kind of gain a little bit better of an understanding as just watching a video would. Just watching a YouTube video talking about story would. So to round up this story, the last section in the outline of the 3-act narrative, the story, is the now what. You've done your beginning, you've done your conflict, your rising action, your surprise, your, sort of filling it out, your falling action, and then all of a sudden you're at the end, the now what section. And I think the now what, at least for this particular example, is pretty simple. Just read more. I think if I just continue to consume this type of medium, I think that it's going to help me, especially with if I'm sure any books would be good. It's the type of content I consume anyway, so it's really, really easy for me. So hopefully in the coming videos, like in the next, who knows how many, in the next 100 or so, we'll see a steady evolution of my storytelling abilities and just how I do it. I don't know how it will go. I'm excited to see, and I look forward to it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. So let me know your thoughts down below about this whole thing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.